माम अनुस्मर युद्ध से, निरंतर उनके नाम ग्रहण करके ही सब काम करे, वो उन्हीं की सेवा करे। तो इस समय यदि उसका भय आकर के उपस्थित रहता तब तो वो निकलेगा ही नहीं, किसी काम में उसका मन नहीं लगेगा। और भय भी तो व्यक्ति कुछ काम नहीं कर सकता, क्यों? उसका चित्त संकुचित हो जाता, भय से संकुचित हो जाता। इसलिए निर्भय होकर के उसके करना आवश्यक होगा। जब प्रभु के चरणारविंद के आश्रय ग्रहण करता दीक्षित होगा तो उसका भय किस बात की है? उसके तो सुनिश्चित रूप से प्रभु के चरणारविंद की सेवा ही तो मिल गई है। भय वहीं होता जब उनके वियुक्त होकर के कर्माधीन जन्म को प्राप्त करता। इसलिए समस्त जीव को अत्याचार से निर्मुक्त करना, रोग से, शोक से, सबसे इस प्रकार शिक्षा प्रदान करना ही भक्ति है। ताकि वो परम उत्साह से काम कर सके। इसका नाम कर्मयोग है। गीता इसका सोपान मात्र है। देह के अध्यास को परित्याग करके इन भागवत धर्म में प्रविष्ट होने के लिए वो पायरी है, सोपान है, सिद्धि है। जब ये शरीर विषय में जब आसक्ति हो जाती है तो कौन किसका काम करेगा? वो नहीं होते है ना। तो इसीलिए उसको शरीर विषय आसक्ति को तोड़ने के लिए इनको पहले दिया गया उपदेश। निर्भय शब्द का अर्थ है इस प्रकार न करिए जो उच्छृंखल हो जाए। वो उच्छृंखल नहीं होगा, प्रभु के अनुशासन में चलेगा ना। वो सर्वेंट होगा, ये सर्वेंट, ओबीडिएंट सर्वेंट, निष्कपट होगा, तो वही तो निर्भय होगा। प्रभु के साथ निरंतर संपर्क रहेगा, उन्हीं के सेवक होगा तो वही तो निर्भय है। जो मृत्यु से उसका कोई भय नहीं है। मृत्यु से भय इस प्रकार होता जो यहाँ से प्रिय व्यक्ति के साथ विच्छेद हो जाता और आगे जाकर के कर्मफल का भोग होता। और जब निरंतर इसमें वर्तमान में ही प्रभु के स्मृति और प्रभु के सेवा में साक्षात रूप से रहता, किस बात की भय रहती है? और भय रहने से ये विरोध होता भक्ति का। क्यों? ईश्वर वो चित्तवृत्ति संकुचित हो जाने से, अन्यमनस्क का हो जाने से कोई सेवा नहीं करेगा। समझाइए।
So, Maharaj says that the most fearful thing for any individual is death. It's the fear of death. Because he has, during the lifetime, he has developed various bodily relationships, attachment based on bodily relationships. So at the time of death, all of a sudden, all his relationships are going away. And he's going to leave everybody. That is why he is scared of death. And when he is so scared in such a way, if a person is scared of death, then he will become inactive and he will not be able to act properly. So always he will be thinking that I will die. So what will I do? Why should I do anything? And he will not act properly. And Maharaj then quotes a verse in which it is said that a person who is engaged in acquiring wealth and learning, he should always feel that he is never going to become old and he is never going to die. With such a feeling he should earn money and learn. But a person who is seeking mukti, he should always feel that death is holding his hair, and now it's in next moment it is going to take me away. Here the word Maharaj says that by mukti we mean that if you follow the instruction of the Lord. So if he doesn't fear that way, that if he doesn't feel that in the next moment he is going to die, then he will get attached to his body and he starts following the bodily needs. He will think that there is a lot of time for me. Later stage I will do all those things. Now I will fulfill my bodily needs. So that is why he should feel that I am going to die next moment, so I have to quickly become free from death. But in bhakti it is different. Bhakti you are not scared of, you should not feel that I am going to die next moment. You should be absolutely fearless and follow the order of the Lord. Because if you become fearful, then what happens is that your mind becomes contracted, and with such a contracted mind you will never be able to do seva. And when the mind becomes contracted, you start feeling that what are the use of doing all these things? For whose sake I will do all these things? And what is the purpose of seva? What will I get of all these things? So, or if a person is always thinking that I will get death, I will die, then he cannot do any seva at all. The purpose of seva is to serve everybody, make everybody happy, and make everybody free from fear and all these things which Maharaj says. That is why one should be absolutely free from fear and be engaged in other people's service. And we should realize that death is compulsory. As soon as a person is born, his death is also fixed, and there is no escaping from it. So, when in the path of Jnana Marga, in the path of Jnana, we are instructed to think about death so that we can be liberated immediately. But in the case of bhakti, we are not interested in liberation, we are interested in service. And that is why we have to be fearless. Because one of the characteristics of seva is that you can do favorable activity only if you are happy. Bhakti, in the other paths, what happens is that you do something in order to get happiness. Here you do not do something to get happiness, you do out of happiness. Because pleasure potency, bhakti is part of pleasure potency. The tendency of bhakti in seva is to seek pleasure in other people's pleasure. So when you are actually getting happiness. So you are doing activity out of happiness there. So that is why if you are fearful of death, if you think about death, then where is the question of happiness there? You should be absolutely free from it and you should be totally happy. And then only seva happens. But you should follow, by becoming fearless, you should not be, you should not act independently. Like there are many people outside also, you see that they are very fearless people. But they act whimsically, they act freely, they act independently, they do not follow any order. We should not be fearless in that sense. We should be fearless of death, and then we should be fearless in order to serve, to follow the order of the Lord. That is why Lord Krishna, and whatever activity that we do, we should always remember Krishna. All seva should take place by remembering Krishna constantly. That is why Lord Krishna has said that you fight by remembering me. A person who is fearful cannot do anything. So Maharaj Ji says that if one accepts the Lord at the time of Diksha, he is automatically getting the service of the Lord. When you take Diksha, then whatever service you do is actually service of the Lord. So where is the question of any fear in it? Because you have got what anybody, which is the ultimate goal of everybody. And fear is that fear is the fear of losing our relationship with our kith and kin, and then the fear of getting a samsara. And so samsara you get if you become detached from the Lord, if you become away from the Lord. So a devotee cannot be scared of, there cannot be any fear in a devotee at all, because if he is doing the seva of the Lord, for him there will be no samsara. Only if you are detached from the Lord, then there can be samsara. So there is nothing to fear for him. And so Maharaj Ji says that this is basically karma yoga, the path in which we know it's full of activity. After taking initiation, we get engaged in the seva, which means seva means activity. We get engaged in the activity. And Bhagavad Gita, whatever is taught in Bhagavad Gita, is only a ladder for us to come to that stage of actually taking the path of bhakti. So in Bhagavad Gita, what is preached is that the detachment the main instruction in Bhagavad Gita is to learn how to distinguish between body and the self. This is taught because if you get attached to the body, then no seva is possible for us. And automatically fear develops. If you are attached to the body, immediately you are scared of death because you are scared of losing your bodily relationships. That is why Bhagavad Gita's aim is first of all to break this attachment with the body by giving you the knowledge about the self which is different from the body. And it is that is why it is a ladder. It is gradually, by giving this teaching, it is trying to make us free from the fear, so that we take up the path of bhakti by becoming free from the attachment to the body, and then we get engaged in seva of the Lord. So Maharaj again repeats that fearless means don't take that you become fearless and act independently, whatever you want to do. Nobody is there to question me. Not in that mood. You become fearless, and then you get engaged in order to follow the words of the Lord, in order to be disciplined and so if we are engaged in the service of the Lord, there can be absolutely no fear at all of anything.